Hey guys, I'm Isa. I flew all the way here from Sweden. Today I'm hanging out with Rob at Front Row Live. Be with us.
You recently released your most recent single, "Happy Again," and I love this track because not only is it another vulnerable side of you, but like I feel like you kind of toned it down. It's more acoustic, so we get to listen to your vocals a lot more. So, what was that initial creative process like when you came into the studio or the session, or when you started writing the song? Like, did you know that this song was happening, or was this something that just kind of revealed itself?
I think I had started writing about this kind of subjects and about like more personal stuff for a few months. And I actually wrote this song together with another producer in the room, and it was a lot more like more produced and like with the drums and all that stuff. But when I heard it in my head and when I started singing the melodies and writing the lyrics down, I actually felt that it was like too overdone, like the production. So after the session, I actually went home and redid it almost. I rewrote some lyrics and recorded the guitars myself and did that version instead. And what was actually funny is that the original version of the song was called "Smile Again," but I felt like it wasn't too like punchy enough, so I wanted to just like be like more hands on and say happy. So yeah, but I felt like lately I've just been more eager to write more stuff that's truly like from the heart and about myself and not be too scared of doing that.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Do you feel like that's because of like the experience that you've had now? So now you feel more comfortable getting these words out, performing it to an audience, or do you feel like it's just that whole deal with growth? Like you're at an age where like now it's the time to kind of just open up to the world and talk to your audience.
Maybe it's a combination. I think it's about me being ready for it, I guess, but also like actually having something to say for real and having like a little bit longer perspectives than before because otherwise or like before like earlier when I was younger maybe I was more like in my own head right now and I hadn't like started thinking about my own like development or like how I've changed and stuff like that. So now I've been through a lot and I've been through both a depression, through like having self-doubt, but also like finding myself again and all those type of journeys. And I think that I'm on my way to like finally heal and really find myself again, almost like it's a full circle. So that I think it's easier for me to speak about the hard stuff now when I feel better, rather than. I think I've always had a hard time like really putting it into words when I'm in it, when I'm like in the darkness or whatever. So, but now it feels like almost healing to actually just get it out as well for me, yeah, like personally.
And I know like some artists like going back to that era while they're writing it, like because yeah, they have said like now they're able to write about it because they're not in it, but like going back into that time period while you're writing it, like that, how does that dictate the kind of vocals that you're gonna like, how vulnerable your vocals are gonna be, or like the kind of ranges or vocal tones that you're gonna do during the recording process?
I guess it's connected in some weird like I don't know subconscious way. um, yeah, to me it's I always want to perform vocals that make sense with what I have to say, and like lately it's been more vulnerable, I guess. And I actually have started to sing more softly and like more not whispery, but like take the almost the energy down a little bit. And it's actually kind of funny how like soft I sing if you would actually be in the room, but because of like compression and stuff and the computer, it sounds like you're more close. But if you would sing like that live, you would probably not even hear it. So it's like, so I've been more. I usually, or like I've been writing more by myself lately as well, just sitting by the mic and like playing some guitar, and just like almost I've actually also started singing the whole song through instead of like taking because I usually take like verse and then the pre-chorus and then the hook. Now I've started to sing the whole thing through and like almost just seeing where like the energy takes itself by just doing it, like you're almost doing it live. I don't know how other artists do it, except for the ones I've been writing with myself, but I think that's been a cool thing when it comes to my more vulnerable songs.
Yeah. I mean, I would think that for the vulnerable music, like you would want to kind of have it on that same take. It would be weird if you're like doing it in multiple takes because
Yeah.
the tone is going to be different every time.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like sometimes you don't even want perfection when it's those
Right.
type of songs. And if I sing out of tune in one take and I still love the feeling, I can always pitch it. I'm more like, I've been more like, I've wanted to create more of a good emotion and a good feeling rather than thinking about the pitch too much. So yeah, it's been a cool process. It's kind of different from what I've done before.
Yeah. Now, I really love like the wordplay and the way you deliver your lyrics on this song. Um, was that again like you mentioned you started the song with a producer, but like did that was that like a bounce between you and the producer, or is that something that you already had written down, like the kind of words and the wordplay that you had on this track?
I actually don't quite remember. I think I had something written down, actually. I think I had the idea of the weekdays, like to play around with that stuff. But I don't know if I had like the whole story. I don't think I had the whole vision
Yeah.
right there. But I remember that I had like an idea that I would want something to like start at one end and then end up somewhere else and like tell a full story with like different verses and not have too much like maybe not the usual pop kind of structure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more simple. It's direct to the point, right?
Yeah.
That's what I loved about this track.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but it's definitely one of my favorite songs still, and I almost get like shaky and nervous every time I play it for someone because it feels like this is me, this is my heart, and like yeah, it's almost scary, but it's cool, and that's why I guess that's why I love it because it truly means a lot to me, like still.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is like not only like first new music in some time, but it's also like part of an upcoming EP that you're working on, like a body of work. So why did you feel like this song was like that perfect introduction to this upcoming body of work?
Like one of my close friends actually told me that she thought I was brave releasing this type of track first because it's like totally different from what I've done before, but also like a stripped down type of song. But I guess that's why I wanted to do it because it feels like it maybe gets people to listen, and it feels like super honest and a good start for the EP. Because I have a few other songs that are more like up tempo and like more produced, but also they all touch the same type of like subjects, and I talk a lot about like growing up and almost being an adult, but really not like inside, even though I'm 24. It still feels like sometimes I'm a kid and sometimes I know exactly what I'm doing and sometimes I'm just super confused like every other 15-year-old or whatever. So I sing a lot about that, like both anxiety but also like love for like getting there and like growing.
Yeah. So with this song in particular, like, what do you feel was like the biggest challenge that you had, whether it was in the writing process or when you went back home and like did it acoustic?
Like the hardest part of the
Yeah,
process?
like where do you feel like you felt challenged? Because I know like sometimes it's like the lyrics or certain words that you said in the song or
Yeah.
certain vocal ranges or vocal tones. Like what challenged you on it?
I think maybe it was like in the first in the session I had with the production, like finding the right emotion because I felt like maybe the track was like yeah, too energetic, and I wanted me to feel like super like calm and honest and yeah, chill in some way. And it was hard to like. I think I oversung it a little bit in the first version, and I think like the little tweaks I did on the lyrics when I got back home, it came kind of naturally once I started like stripping it down.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the challenge, and I think this song just it was made for like being not overdone, basically.
And the fact that you basically ended up self-producing this track yourself, like how do you feel about being your own producer at the same time, and how do you step out of that hat of like being the artist and then also being the producer?
I think that's. I don't know if I've found the balance yet because sometimes I really enjoy working with others and just basically letting I can't speak letting them do the whole work. But I also feel like it's such a liberating feeling to be able to do it yourself, especially here. I actually was the producer in the room this trip, which is kind of cool because I know then I got. I don't know if maybe I'm a control freak. Maybe that's the thing. No, but I know exactly what I want, and sometimes it's just super. It's just a good feeling to be able to do it yourself. But I don't think it's like I necessarily doesn't I necessarily don't think that the roles have to like compete with each other or whatever. I feel like I've also produced for other artists and stuff, and that's super inspiring for my own project and for myself as both a producer and an artist. And I write for others as well. So I feel like I've grown into a more of a like I don't know a multiple type of creator instead of like just being an artist and doing it for myself. I feel like I feel like my love for music in general has grown by just making music and just like doing it in whatever form, kind of.
In the same sense, though, like how do you step out of comfort? Just because, the reason why we have producers is not only to like help build the song and create it more than it already was, but also like to get you out of that comfort zone. So you're not, I mean, you as the writer, you're listening to that track over and over again.
Yeah.
So how do you do that when you're doing it yourself?
That's the thing. I think I have to work with others to be able to step out of my own comfort zone when I produce myself. Because sometimes I get like stuck in a corner, basically, and redoing the same song all over again, and like doing the same chords or using the same instrument or sound. So I think that's the reason why I have to like work with others and like always get new inspiration from other people, basically.
Now, lastly, with this like lower vocal tone that you did on this track, do you feel like it's a more natural approach for you when you're singing or when you're first starting to like hum out the music, or do you feel like that's a different way for you to sing that you still feel like you still have to like perfect it and work on it?
I've started singing more low the last couple of years. I think that comes more naturally to me, but also I don't know. I prefer my voice down there. I don't know why, so that's been like I've started my melodies in that type of like that range, but I also enjoy singing. I love like getting those moments of the high notes, and that I think "Happy Again" kind of like represents that because it's a little part of the song that's like super emotional and like where I can what I can do like all out, and I enjoy doing that live as well. That's like one of my favorite favorite moments ever. But otherwise, a lot of the songs are like, especially the verses, are usually super like lower in my lower range. And I think that's maybe, I don't know, I haven't thought about it that way before, but maybe it's like because I speak kind of in that range, it makes more sense. Like especially if I talk about like super personal stuff and like honest stuff, maybe it feels more natural to do it that way than over sing it and like do too much like moving melodies and too high. Maybe I haven't thought about it that way, but it could make sense. Yeah.
I've also always wondered if like the reason for that lower vocal tone when you're being more vulnerable is because you're still unsure of whether or not you want them to hear everything that you're saying.
Yeah.
As opposed to like when you're switching it up,
Yeah.
like they're gonna hear and feel every emotion.
Yeah, exactly. And it's almost like I've started writing lyrics before melodies more lately as well, because otherwise, or like earlier in my
Sounds tough.
yeah, sometimes it's hard, but sometimes it's also easier to exactly do what you just said, like get the lyrics to be heard, and do it in that way instead. But sometimes it's also like super hard to get all the syllables to work for a melody and stuff. So, but I think that's also like inspiring to try out different ways to start a song.
Got it. Now, where are you at as far as the CP? Like, are you like in the beginning stages of it? Are you like closer to the end of it? Are you ready to release it? Like, where are you at with that?
I would say I'm closer to the end. There will be another single coming out in like a month. And I actually have 3 more songs done, and it's just a couple of them that's not done yet. It's basically in the mixing and mastering state. So it's but it's I'm always like I have like a hate love thing for finishing stuff because you have to finish it to be able to move on to the next like I don't know, creative kind of state of mind. But it's also like I also enjoy making new stuff so much more. So it's like, yeah. But I'm actually super proud of this. I'm super excited to release it. But it'll be out this fall.
Nice. Awesome. Well, congratulations with the new single. Thank you for taking the time to sit down with me. You guys be sure to check out the new single, Happy Again. It's out now. And thanks for watching here on Front Row Live.